Louis Auguste Blanqui was a French socialist and political activist, notable for his revolutionary theory of Blanquism. Biography. Early life, political activity and first imprisonment. Blanqui was born in Puget Copyright Niers, Alpes-Maritimes, where his father, Jean-Dominique Blanqui, of Italian descent, was subprefect. He was the younger brother of the liberal economist copyright Rami Adolphe Blanqui. He studied both law and medicine, but found his real vocation in politics, and quickly became a champion of the most advanced opinions. A member of the Carbonari Society since 1824, he took an active part in most Republican conspiracies during this period. In 1827, under the reign of Charles X, he participated in a street fight in Rue Saint-Denis, during which he was seriously injured. In 1829, he joined Pierre Leroux's Globe newspaper before taking part in the July Revolution of 1830. He then joined the Amos du Peuple Society, where he made acquaintances with Philippe Bonarroti, Raspail, and Armand Barber. He was condemned to repeated terms of imprisonment for maintaining the doctrine of republicanism during the reign of Louis Philippe. In May 1839, a Blanquist-inspired uprising took place in Paris, in which the League of the Just, forerunners of Karl Marx's Communist League, participated. Implicated in the armed outbreak of the Social Copyright des Saisons, of which he was a leading member, Blanqui was condemned to death on January 14, 1840, a sentence later commuted to life imprisonment. Release, revolutions and further imprisonment. He was released during the Revolution of 1848, only to resume his attacks on existing institutions. The revolution had not satisfied him. The violence of the Social Copyright Publicain Centrale, which was founded by Blanqui to demand a change of government, brought him into conflict with the more moderate Republicans, and in 1849 he was sentenced to 10 years imprisonment. While in prison, he sent a brief address to a committee of Social Democrats in London. The text of the address was noted and introduced by Marx. In 1865, while serving a further term of imprisonment under the Empire, he escaped, and continued his propaganda campaign against the government from abroad, until the general amnesty of 1869 enabled him to return to France. Blanqui's predilection for violence was illustrated in 1870 by two unsuccessful armed demonstrations, one on January 12 at the funeral of Victor Noir, the journalist shot by Pierre Bonaparte. The other on August 14, when he led an attempt to seize some guns from a barracks. Upon the fall of the Empire, through the Revolution of September 4, Blanqui established the club and journal La Patrie en Danger. He was one of the group that briefly seized the reins of power on October 31, and for his share in that outbreak he was again condemned to death in absentia on March 9 of the following year. On March 17, Adolphe Thiers, aware of the threat represented by Blanqui, took advantage of his resting at a friend physician's place, in Bretigny-in-Lot, and had him arrested. A few days afterwards the insurrection which established the Paris Commune broke out, and Blanqui was elected president of the insurgent commune. The communards offered to release all of their prisoners if the Thiers government released Blanqui, but their offer was met with refusal, and Blanqui was thus prevented from taking an active part. Karl Marx would later be convinced that Blanqui was the leader that was missed by the commune. Nevertheless, in 1872 he was condemned along with the other members of the commune to transportation. On account of his broken health this sentence was again commuted to one of imprisonment. On April 20, 1879 he was elected a deputy for Bordeaux. Although the election was pronounced invalid, Blanqui was freed, and immediately resumed his work of agitation. Ideology. As a socialist, Blanqui favored a just redistribution of wealth. But Blanquism is distinguished in various ways from other socialist currents of the day. On one side, contrary to Karl Marx, Blanqui did not believe in the preponderant role of the working class, nor in popular movements. He thought, on the contrary, that the revolution should be carried out by a small group, who would establish a temporary dictatorship by force. This period of transitional tyranny would permit the implementation of the basis of a new order, after which power would be handed to the people. In another respect, Blanqui was more concerned with the revolution itself than with the future society that would result from it. If his thought was based on precise socialist principles, it rarely goes so far as to imagine a society purely and really socialist. In this he differs from the utopian socialists. For the Blanquists, the overturning of the bourgeois social order and the revolution are ends sufficient in themselves, at least for their immediate purposes. He was one of the non-Marxist socialists of his day. Death. Following a speech at a political meeting in Paris, Blanqui had a stroke. He died on January 1, 1881 and was interred in the Père-Lachaise cemetery. His elaborate tomb was created by Jules Daller. Legacy: Blanqui's uncompromising radicalism, and his determination to enforce it by violence, brought him into conflict with every French government during his lifetime, and as a consequence, he spent half of his life in prison. Besides his innumerable contributions to journalism, he published a work entitled Literature Copyright par les Astres, where he espoused his views concerning eternal return. After his death his writings on economic and social questions were collected under the title of Critique sociale. The Italian fascist newspaper Il Popolo d'Italia, founded and edited by Benito Mussolini, had a quotation by Blanqui on its mast, Chi ha del ferro ha del pane. Blanqui's political activism and his book Literature Copyright par les Astres were commented on by Walter Benjamin in his Arcades project and are referenced in the novel The Secret Knowledge by Andrew Crumey. See also, French demonstration of May 15, 1848, No Gods, No Masters. References. This article incorporates text from a publication now in the public domain, Chisholm, Hugh, ed. Encyclopædia Britannica. Cambridge University Press. Publications, French, La Euro Unregistered Trademark Arma Copyright Esclave Prima Copyright E, Critique sociale, in 2 volumes, capital A Travail and Fragments A Notes, Instructions pour une prise d'Euro Unregistered Trademark Arme, Maintenant il faut des armes, ni Dieu ni maître, qui fait la soupe doit la manger, ra Copyright Ponce, un dernier mot, English, A Euro The Eternity According to the Stars, A Euro TR by Matthew H. Anderson, with an afterword by Lisa Bloch de Behor. In Creek, The New Centennial Review 9/3, 61-94, Winter 2009. The first full-length translation into English. Eternity by the Stars, TR with an intro by Frank Cherokee. First critical edition. External links. Louis Auguste Blanqui archive at marxists.org, http, Museu du Journals vo 09/9.3 editor HTML